Do you get nervous while speaking English? Or sometimes nervousness hovers you, or it is surrounded by your brain and it entirely engulfs you. So today I'm here to discuss all the problems, and surely we will be finding out the best solution out of that at the end of the session. You are watching Wisdom with Anthony, and today I have brought another issue that is faced by many of the learners of English language, and especially why they are in terms of learning, that is translating the language from their native one. What does it mean, sir? Sometimes when we are learning a second language, we tend to fall into translation, and that actually is time consuming, making a lot of fillers, and even it sounds us without confidence. I mean to say we become less confidence. Yes. So today the problem we are going to discuss, there are many points that you can add into this, but I have taken some essence of the points so that we can discuss and we can find the solution of those. Very first I have for you in this is, you get nervous. Now you might think, sir, I get nervous and I translate, what is the relation between? Let me let you know. What happens when you are speaking with translation? It is obvious and it is seen normally that you tend to get nervous, you tend to become nervous. Why and how? Sometimes your nerves doesn't send you the message, and that becomes an interruption. That channel from where that source is giving you the words or the structure, sometimes it gets chocked, it gets blocked. Why? Because of nervousness. Our nerve system, when it works properly, we tend to have the sound mind in the sound body, where their sound mind can operate. Obviously, sound body. Your mind is actually everything. That's why you must have heard people saying mindset is the everything. When we are not able to control or curb our nerve system, we tend to get nervous, and being nervous is something that put a great difference and a huge difference in your speaking, and you don't sound to be a confident one, and even our English is not fluent. The reason behind, we get nervous. Nervousness is something that you feel down, and it actually affects your body and mind suddenly, that you stop getting the words, the structures, the grammar, everything, even though sometimes you know the things without getting. See, when you get nervous, what happens? It chokes and blocks everything. Without being nervous, when you can control yourself, when you have control over the body and the mind, you go smooth, you take a deep sigh, you go in the conversation perfectly. That's what I mean to say. When you are in the conversation, take hold of yours. Be natural. Try to calm down yourself. Hold your nerves. Then execute. The second point I have for you in this, that is lack of vocabulary. I don't know whether you agree to me in this regard or not, but this is 101% true. To speak a language, you need to have more words. Language is all about the words. We may speak with wrong grammar, not an issue. There is nobody perfect. In language, nobody can be perfect. Sometimes when we hear somebody saying or speaking in English, we get we mesmerize. We impress with the personality. The person is speaking fluent English. The person is speaking without hesitation or without hesitating. That is okay. That's okay. But the thing is that without vocabulary or without words, we get stuck. And we get stucking until and unless we have the word bank in our brain. We need to have a lot of words. How can you improve your vocabulary in order? Suppose you are there in a concert, you are there at market, school, college, office, even at your home. You need vocab, you need to have words in order to speak a language, in order to execute, in order to converse with somebody. If you don't have vocabulary, if you don't have words, you may not be able to speak a language, which is dire need of a language to be spoken. So I need to have words in order to speak or in order to converse the particular language. You need to improve your vocabulary by learning every day 1 or 2 words, 3 words. But you have to see, decision is yours, execution is yours, plan is yours. You have to decide that how you are going to do that. There are many methods. For an example, methods vary person to person. For me, if you ask, I just learn 2 vocabulary every single day, 2 or 3. Because learning 5 to 10 vocabulary, sometimes what is actually advised or suggested by many of people, that is absurd sometimes. We tend to forget. The thing is that when you are learning a vocabulary of a word, you need to keep in mind so that you have to use that word same moment. 3, 4, 5 sentences if you use, once you learn new word, and you need to use that word on regular basis. Right? On continual intervals, so that that word should be saved in the memory. The third I have for you, sometimes we have lack of words, sometimes we do have words, then we don't have structures. There also we need to translate. The thing is that if I do not know whether a sentence has to be said in passive voice or a sentence has to be said in indirect speech, so I need to have the knowledge of the structure. I'm not talking about the depth of the language. It is just the purpose. See, first of all, I must let you know that the purpose of your learning is what? You need to learn. You need to know the purpose of yours. If your purpose is just to converse, then no need to go in the depth of the language. But let me add something. If you learn English as a language, you will fall in love with it. If you learn it as a subject, there will be always paradoxical case as well as in yours. So fall in love with English as a language, not as a subject. I mean to say, you do not know a structure, and that time what happened? You start automatically. See, our brain is super duper intelligent. It is inexplicable that I can explain you in the words. It will find the source. If you are not able to speak, it will get stuck. It will do the fillers, then it will give you the structure in the native language. That is easier. That's why the brain finds an alternate way automatically itself. When you are not able to find this way or this structure, the brain gives you that structure. So that is reality. In reality it works. So make sure that if you get stuck, no problem. Learn. See, learning is a process, never ever comes to an end. And everyone must learn. In order to gain something, we need to put little efforts which is required to achieve anything. If you want to have a cup of tea, you need to get up from the seat. If you want to have something, at least you need to have the thought of that. You need to do little thing to achieve that. That's what I mean to say. Learn little small structures so that you should be able to, yes, articulate well. Practice. We want to speak fluent English. We want to become confident, but we don't want to do practice. Without practice, can you imagine an athlete or anyone, a sports person, can reach to that place or that spot where they are now? Or a student, or if I talk about an IAS or IPS officer, do you think that they can reach over there without practice? Practice is the key which opens the door of any lock. You need to have the key with you. What is the key? Practice. I'm not talking about monotonous and boring practices of 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours. No. Wrong practice will produce the wrong result. I'm talking about having the right practice done. What is that? Give 10 to 15 minutes. Randomly you can have a topic. You can, if you watch a movie or suppose you watch a scene, pause it, try to explain, try to narrate the same in your English. Initially you can, no problem, initially you can just have the thoughts in your mother tongue. Are you getting me? Then start speaking the same thing in English. Have a scene, watch a movie of a particular scene, you can just pause and just narrate it, even though you are sitting in the park and something happening in front of your very eyes. What? Just you need to just start doing the commentary, that's it. Explain. Speak up, whatever is happening, right? You will find, believe me, it will bring a drastic change in your speaking and you will find a huge difference in your speaking. Last but not least in today's list, that is not able to think in English. These last 2 points are very important. If you do miss these 2 points, you miss everything. Without practicing, then how to practice? You need to learn that I need to put in my brain that I'm not gonna think in my mother tongue. That you need to practice. See, your brain is very innocent. If you tell your brain it is hot outside, the brain will perceive. The brain considers everything accordingly. If you tell your brain it is easy, the brain makes everything easier, because brain sends the message to the tissues and the cells of the body, and body fathoms everything accordingly. So you need to think in English. Sir, how to think in English? A great question. English is not my mother tongue. I'm not native speaker of English. Excuse me. How can I think in English? Don't you think so, sir? It is a lengthy procedure. It is a complex procedure. No, my dear. It's a small efforts when put every day brings drastic results. If you do this in the form of practice every single day, 10 to 15 minutes, if you speak, if you think, for an example, you are thinking your daily activities, whatever we think, no, the brain first of all gives the message in the native language. Now I am speaking to you something, I am delivering something that is not in my mother tongue. It is not. See, my brain is not giving me the structures, the vocabulary in my mother tongue. If it gives me in the mother tongue, it will take a lot of time to deliver those words, to deliver this. I think you are getting what I mean to say. Directly I am having the words in English and it is being delivered by my tongue. So this source, I have trained my brain to give me the words and the structures in English, so that I can converse to anyone and at anywhere without any nervousness, without any problem, without being inconfident. Are you getting me? Think in English. Same thoughts that you are having in your mind, initially you will have to pressurize your brain to think in English, but once you keep going, yes, believe me, after practice of 31 days you will find a huge difference where you were and where you are. But you need to do that in order to have the result. I hope you must have liked all the points that I have discussed with you, or maybe one of the points or maybe all of the points are the problem of yours. And please do respond me that how are the problems of yours and how I try to resolve the queries and the problems of yours. Surely I will be helping you out. I will be bringing such videos for you. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.